Do you guys see all these hymnals? There's a few more boxes, and after I get done putting them out, making sure they're okay, we're gonna do a story time. Look at all of these hymnals. My goodness. Okay, so I don't think this is gonna be as much of a story time as it is just like day in the life of a pastor's wife, which isn't really that different than a regular Christian involved in church, and I want people to see that. Now I just want to talk about the craziness that I deal with sometimes, and just, I don't know, I just want to have a connection with other Christians. Maybe there's other pastors' wives out there and they're confused and they don't know what it's all about, and maybe they want to learn more, and I'm here for anyone. So let's get into it. So it's a slow morning. I do some of my chores and then I decide I'm gonna finally eat breakfast. So I cook my breakfast. I'm sitting here and eating it and watching a show on Netflix, and I get a call all of a sudden. I was almost done with breakfast. I get a call, and it was one of our church members, and they said, "Hey, you have boxes out there. I'm not sure if you knew about them, but there's quite a few. I don't know if it's the hymnals or what it could be." So I was like, "Oh, let me go check." And I'm on the phone with her. We're right next to, the parsonage is right next to the church, by the way. And if you don't know what a parsonage is, it's basically a house that the church provides for the pastor and his family. So I go out there to check the boxes, and I'm on the phone with her, and then I'm talking, and then as I go to bend down and look at the boxes, the phone disconnects because we don't have that good of signal out here, and so we rely on Wi-Fi mostly. And when you walk too far away from Wi-Fi, even if you have good signal, it just clicks off. Well, upon further inspection, after I noticed that the call had just ended and realized what was happening, I noticed that it was the hymnals, and I also noticed it was sprinkling and it was wet. So I ran back inside real quick, put the phone down, ran back outside, opened the garage doors, and put them in there real quick. And then I just decided to take care of that first, that the hymnals were okay. They looked fine to me. The boxes didn't feel too wet. So I get them in the garage, I go back inside, and then I call our church member back and was like, "Yes, it was the hymnals. I'm glad you told me. I didn't hear a knock or anything, and they probably would have been ruined." And so we got off of the phone. While she was on the phone, she was talking about, she was really worried still about the hymnals after I said, the boxes didn't look too damp. And she was a little worried about that. So I said, I'll check them. I'll take them out of the boxes and check them. And she got off the phone, and then that's what you were seeing over there was I was taking them out of the boxes. The boxes they weren't even really that damp, but just to make sure and be safe, I took them out. They're on my island now, and the boxes are sitting there drying all the way completely on our kitchen table. But that's just like an example of what I had to do in the life of a pastor's wife. It's just, and they were delivered here because our church shares the same address somehow, or the stuff is not deliverable for the church, so it comes here. And that's just what I had to deal with this morning. And it's not, I count it as a blessing, really. when you get into circumstances like this and it like throws you off, you know, I had to lift heavy boxes and place them in 2 different locations. Took time to bring them out. And instead of being bitter, instead of focusing on the bad, I focused on the good. I was thankful that this person had called me and warned me, because those were expensive, number one. Number two, I was glad to be able to get the exercise that I needed. And number three, it's just, it makes you feel good, like when you do good things. And you don't do them for recognition. You do them because God places missions in your life. And no matter how big or small they are, He trusts you with them. So if you love God and you admire Him and you believe in Him, you do what is good for Him when He hands you a task to do. And you do it to the best of your abilities. And so instead of thinking like negatively, I know at the beginning of becoming a pastor's wife, it was almost like overwhelming, because so many people wanted these things out of you, and you're like, you're frustrated because they don't ask, you're overwhelmed, you feel very tiny and small. But as time goes on, you realize that it's really a blessing. Like, you're getting to handle important things. God is trusting you with important things. And it's just awesome that God can have so much trust in His children. And I think you have to like reshift your mind, your thinking on certain things. And also I want to say with that, God has taught me to do the extra mile, and to make sure, like, if you're struggling, God will nudge you along the way. Like me, I have trouble thinking through things. So like me, I thought it was just good enough to take them out of the rain into the garage, even though the boxes were a little damp to the touch. I didn't feel like it got to the inside, but He sent our church member along to not only warn me about them and so I could get them in time, but number two, to call me back, and then through our conversation have me think more about, did you do enough, like, to ensure the safety of these hymnals that we paid a lot of money for? And you just have to be thankful for those moments, and He will nudge you. And you know, we're imperfect human beings, but He uses imperfect human beings all throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament. You see that. So I'm thankful for this life. I'm thankful for the lessons. I'm thankful for the teaching. And I think the best thing you can do when when a task comes your way is to do it to the best of your abilities and to do it well. And that's just my message of today. So anyways, this was a really long video. It's just catching up in the future, and I hope this sticks because I changed my mind. But I'm going to do just more day in the life sort of things of a pastor. Day in the life of a pastor's wife. Lord help me, literally. To kind of, you know, just build a community and lift people up and to help them through difficult times and difficult things. If you have any advice for me, leave it. If you have any prayer requests, leave it. I will pray for you. If you just want to say hi, I will say hi. But hopefully the next video is more joyful. exciting. Who knows? Let me know what you would like to know or see as well. But I will see you next time.